welcome to the stream, to some reactions to a rumored Traitors cast for season 4. I can't believe we're already in 4 seasons deep on the Traitors. Oh boy. Oh boy. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about this cast. This rumored cast. It is not official necessarily. But it is quite a rumored cast. All right, making sure I just tweet this out. All right. So, if you haven't heard, there have been breaking rumors about the season 4 Traitors cast in the US. We have a full rumored cast list. And I want to kind of talk about thoughts, reactions, analysis on the cast. Those are kind of the things on the docket today. If you haven't already, I did just drop my Genius Game UK reaction for the finale over on YouTube. And I'm nearing the end of the Devil's Plan reactions over on Patreon as well, if you want to check that out. But let's talk about it. First of all, let's pull up. This is from a reality TV fan. This is the Traitors US season 4 rumored cast. First on the list, Dorinda. I think she was on the cast already. Second on the list, Rob Sesternino. Excuse me? Who's this guy? Oh boy. For the record, I didn't even know that Rob was in consideration for 50. I am not a guy that asks questions. I am a guy that finds out. I prefer that. Genuinely. I found out when the internet did that Rob was in consideration for 50. I was like, "Oh, look at that." I do know, I had talked to Rob. I do know that he's wanted to be on the Traitors. Is that Taylor in the chat? I mean, Taylor, when are you going on the Traitors? Man, wouldn't that have been cool if Taylor had also been on this rumored cast and played with Rob? Yeah, maybe Taylor, maybe this is a fake Taylor and she's actually in a cage in Scotland waiting to be rescued. Anyway, I do know that Rob has wanted to do the Traitors in the past. So it's not surprising to me that he might be on a rumored cast list. Um, just not necessarily, right now. But here's the thing. Here's Rob. If somehow you don't know, because some of you might only know Rob from the podcast. Perhaps you don't know Rob at all if you're watching this like on YouTube or something. But Rob Cesternino, very famously, was called the best player to never win Survivor by Jeff Probst. For the record, the other person who now holds that title won Suri Fields, very famously dominating winner of Trader Season 1. He has since started a podcasting empire and has talked about how he was in consideration for Survivor 50. Did not make the cut. Seems like there was perhaps another option. He was and is, or at least when he played Survivor, right? He was somebody who was a very like entertaining character. He was kind of he kind of broke ground in a lot of ways on Survivor. In terms of strategy, he brought a lot of more complicated Big Brother strategy to Survivor, flipping on his alliances, not just running down, the sort of easy path. And when I say flipping on his alliances, I don't mean that like he's like a super untrustworthy ally or anything. Just back in the day, turning on people at all wasn't really done. You had an alliance, you stuck with the alliance. Even if that alliance didn't do much for you. And so on his season of Survivor, they were like a group of bros. Essentially, it was a gender war season. And he didn't really fit in with the bros. And so he flipped and worked with the women. And then, ended up kind of like flipping back and forth, sort of because he didn't really have like a super solid group of his own. Woony, thank you for gifting 5 subs over there on Twitch. And so this really broke ground in Survivor. On top of that, he was a fantastic confessionalist, always, cracking jokes. If you go back and watch Survivor, the Amazon, he is very funny, can also at times be very cringy. But, it's been like 20 years, 20 plus years. So very excited to see what Rob can do on a show again. Because especially something like the Traitors, because the Traitors is, I would say, number one, ripe for strategic innovation. Because it's like such a strategically dead show. So if Rob can bring something new to it, that would be excellent. Number two, it's a show for characters. And I feel like he can really bring the entertainment. Like Rob is not going to be boring. He's going to go on there. I think he understands the show in the sense that he knows he's not there to like lie low and, be boring and try to like optimize a winning path. Like he's going to be there to make good TV. And so that's what I would expect from Rob Cesternino on the Traitors. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. I don't know if so. Okay, then there's the question: will he be a traitor? I would hope so. I would like him to be a traitor. Um, the problem is, I would say, for Rob coming into this season, who in their right mind would not expect him to be a traitor? Just the meta game of the Traitors right now is that there's going to be one survivor, one big brother every time. And we will run through this cast. There's not that many survivor big brother players. On top of that, none of these survivor big brother players are, I think, your typical known for being overt strategist kinds of players. Like, there's no Dan Giesling or Sari Fields, on this cast. Rob is kind of the closest one to that. You could argue Natalie has a bit of that as well. But when you're looking at, just to quickly spoil some others, people like Ian, you could look at Tiffany and Natalie and say that they are the next biggest. But I think Jam Jam has a reputation for being more character than strategist. Not that he's a bad strategist. In fact, he was quite good. But I think Jam Jam and Ian are less likely to be assumed traitors. So you have to kind of assume Tiffany, Natalie, or Rob, one of them is a traitor. 1,000% at least one of, if not two of them, are traitors, right? Like, that has to be the case. Based on the current metagame of the Traitors, you'd have to assume one of them is a traitor. That's not great. That means if Rob is a traitor, they'll have his number. And if he's not a traitor, it's almost worse. Yeah, I mean, again, this is not necessarily a finalized cast. It is a rumored cast. There might be more people. There might be differences in the cast. This might not be like an actual thing. You have a hot take, but you don't know if you should save it or share it. I don't know. Depending on what it is, maybe you should save it, or maybe you should share. I don't know. What are the downsides? Listen, if Taylor wants to chat, we certainly can. But it's entirely up there. To Taylor specifically, watch Survivor the Amazon and watch Rob say things that made me a feminist at the age of 6. That is fair. That is very fair. Anyway. No, what I'm saying, like I said, I think that Tiffany, Natalie, and Rob are the three like known strategists. I think that Ian and Jam Jam are less likely to be sort of targeted or sort of is suspected, I would say. But I think also that like with Carolyn being a traitor last time, I don't think they'll get off that scot-free. But either way, there's only like 5 of them. And you'd have to assume that at least one, if not 2, are traitors. If Rob is a traitor, you fear he'll play like Traitors era Dan. I think that's possible. But I think that Rob has a few advantages in that. You know what? I think there is genuine possibility for that, because I think that Rob I think that he will be a more entertaining faithful than he would be a traitor. I think if Rob is a traitor, he will have to tone himself down a little bit, at least at first. Whereas if he's a faithful, I think that he's going to be like all out. if that makes sense. Um, because if you're a faithful, you can die at any time and you kind of just have to go for broke. Whereas if you're a traitor, you know you've got time. And so playing a bit of a longer game makes more sense. Um, so, and yeah, and Dan saw what happened with Dan, or sorry, Rob saw what happened with Dan as well. So, you know, you'd hope that he wouldn't sort of fall into the same thing. Because like one of the big things with Dan, I think, was that he was seemingly overwhelmed with the pacing of the Traitors, being used to such a slow paced game and then going into such a high, uh, fast paced environment. Wasn't really able to play the way that he usually would. Um, whereas Rob, I think, very much knows what he's getting into. So hopefully that's a good place to be. Um, so Rob is a traitor, I think, will be fun, but I think he will play slower. I think Rob is a faithful will be just all out from go, which worries me because he might just get murdered immediately. Especially again because like there just aren't enough Big Brother Survivor players. I feel like you'd ideally want more, and the fact that there's only like 5 of them is rough. Also, like looking at the, we can briefly talk about this. Like Ian, I think is good to have on the cast. I think Ian would be a good ally for Rob. Granted, Ian just most recently on TV played All Stars 2, and on that season he was basically like betrayed by anyone. Um, Anyone he tried to work with. So I think he'd be inclined to work with Rob, but like there might be a part of him that's like paranoid. Tiffany, I think, would be an ally for Rob. She, I think, like is closer to me than she is to Rob. I don't know that she's interacted a ton with Rob. Um, but I feel like Rob is the kind of player that Tiffany would gravitate toward. Um, because like she really gravitated toward like the Derricks and the Claires, like the nerdier strategists, and I feel like Derek and Rob have like fairly similar vibes, to be honest. Um, so I feel like they could work well together. Natalie, I have no idea, actually. Like, I don't know what their relationship is. I'm sure they've interacted, but I don't know if Natalie is like, you know, a friend of Rob's. I feel like on paper, Natalie is a savvy player. Yeah, Natalie Anderson, The Amazing Race is kind of wild. It does say note it's possible her twin sister Nadia could be involved too, but that's unconfirmed as of now. So if it was Natalie and Nadia, then it would make more sense, I think, to call them both from Amazing Race. But Natalie herself as a Survivor or as an Amazing Race player is wild. I know Nadia also played Survivor, but them as a duo is much more known for from their time on Amazing Race. A twin twist on the Traitors would be very entertaining. Um, I would say personally, my feeling, knowing Natalie purely from seeing her on TV, I've never interacted with her in my life. I feel like Natalie is the kind of player that would be wary of Rob. I just don't know that their personalities mesh super well. I think Natalie is very savvy and very strategic and might not want a player like Rob like getting in her way because he's got maybe his own ideas of what to do. Um, I think if they connect, yeah, I think she's a loyal player and would work well with him. But I don't know what their relationship is, and I don't know if she's going to like uh, be inclined to want to work with him. So I think this is perhaps like the big make or break for Rob. Is like, can he work with Natalie? Will Natalie want to work with him? Um, you're here for Survivor and Survivor Crime. I mean, listen, I think that you sort of look at what happened last season, and it was a lot of the Survivor and Big Brother people targeting their own, and they kind of just ate themselves up, you know? And then in the end, none of them won. It was a bunch of like randoms that won the game. I would assume if any of these people saw the previous season, they'd want to avoid that from happening. They'd want to prevent that from happening, I should say. And you'd be inclined, I think, to work together. Because, like, why? There's, I think, a lot of reason beyond just like loyalty to show for to do so. Because, like I said, the meta is that one of these people or more are traitors. And so what we saw happen is even if you had solid allies in the cast, if you start to narrow down, like all the survivors are gone except for Boston Rob and Carolyn, then one of Boston Rob or Carolyn are going to be voted out. At like they're never going to let both of them get to the finals, if any of them. And then same thing with Brittany and Danielle. So the more of you there are, the more power you have to survive votes, and the better chance you have to sort of like make an end game run, especially like in the end game, where you stop revealing who's a traitor. Like now all of a sudden, you know, if you're Jam and you're a traitor, you can get like, if they're looking for survivor blood, they can take out Natalie and be like, yeah, we're sure Natalie was a traitor, and then, you know, you survive. Whereas if they vote out Natalie earlier and she's revealed to be a faithful, then it's like, oh, well, Jam's definitely a traitor then. So, um, so I think that's something to consider. Uh, let's talk about some of the other players. So Ian, as I mentioned, most recently played on Big Brother 22 and did not have a great experience. Had this strategy. So basically, Ian on his first season played with Dan Giesling, who you might know, and kind of spent the season being manipulated by Dan for much of it. Sort of directed in different directions. He actually also played with Brittany, if you know Brittany. If I'm talking to the non-Big Brother people here, he played with Brittany on that same season, and was first working closely with Brittany. But then Dan kind of sniped Brittany out of the game and picked Ian up as his as sort of like a person to control. But Ian dominated endgame competitions. He was like immune for most of the second half of the game because he's really good at like the quizzes and the puzzles, which the game used to be like back in season 14. So he came into Big Brother 22 and basically had this the strategy of I need to just lie low and survive until the second half of the game, and then I can start to run competitions again. Unfortunately for him, the game had changed since he had originally played, and he ended up not being able to win those competitions. They're much more physical nowadays. And on top of that, there was a big um, uh, alliance structure that kind of boxed him out. He was working closely with an ally who he felt like he was friends with outside of the house, and she just kind of led him around. Not even the way that Dan did, where like Dan was bringing Ian to the end or close to it, but in a way that was sort of like a little iffy, and ended up getting betrayed by her in such a weird way, where she like pretended she didn't vote him out and was like crying when she voted him out, but she was like, though she could have saved him, and all of this stuff. Bit of a wild situation. And so I'm curious to know what his approach to a show like The Traitors is, given that the competitions don't matter at all. And this is now going to be much more like socially focused. I would have to imagine that Ian is going to be very excited about bringing new strategic angles to the Traitors in the same way that I think Rob would be. I think they're going to work well together. Ian podcasted with us for a couple of years pretty regularly. I don't know that I don't know that he's been like in communication with Rob much since then, but like I have to imagine they're still on pretty friendly terms. And I think that they will want to approach the game in somewhat similar fashion. Rob's strategic side really bonding with Ian, Rob's more entertaining side maybe being like something that Ian feels is good cover for him. I do worry for Ian in terms of like if the Survivor Big Brother players don't have control over traitor kills, I could see him being an early traitor kill just because, they're worried that he's gonna like sniff them out because he's like too smart or something. So, Tiffany, very famously the mastermind behind the Cookout Alliance in season 23 of Big Brother. She is very smart, very social, and I think will be, I have to imagine, a top candidate for a traitor. Which is, again, it's just so obvious. It feels like every season it's so obvious. And then somehow it can sometimes work out for a while. It's like, I'll never get over that Dan was even able to survive a single round table, let alone like 5. Because in what world is Dan not a traitor? But this will be interesting. So basically on her season, she had sort of one path to win the game, but then also had the Cookout, which had its own sort of mission. And that path for her was not as good. She chose the not as good path, and then ended up losing out in the end, much to the dismay of many of her fans. I think she's been on the challenge a few times now, and I don't know that that's gone super well for her. But obviously, like challenges aren't exactly her strong suit. If they were, she would have had a better time at the end of Big Brother. But that doesn't matter in the Traitors because the competitions don't matter at all. She, I think, is somebody that will. I feel like we haven't talked about any of these people. I feel like she'll fit in with like the housewives. I feel like she has that gear. I feel like, unlike most of the Survivor Big Brother players, maybe Jam Jam could. I feel like Rob, Ian, and Natalie might struggle to fit in with the housewives and other kinds of players. Rob, I think, actually could do pretty well at it, but it depends on like what his gear is. Tiffany, I feel like could uh, could make that work, and um, and that could be super valuable for her if she decides to use it. Like I said, I feel like her connection to Rob is sort of not super strong. Um, I think I don't even know if they've podcasted together at all or even talked or interacted. Um, if you created someone in the lab to thrive and Trader, you get Tiffany. I agree. I mean, I think that like I think the problem is for Tiffany that it's season 4 and not season 1 or 2. And I think that like if anybody knows the meta of this game at all, they'll be looking at her in a way that I mean they should be. They just should be looking at her in a way that is skeptical. Tiffany's maybe the only person on this cast that might actually benefit from like cutting all of the other Survivor Big Brother players. Because I feel like if she got rid of all of the smart people, not to say that the others aren't smart, but like more strategic people who are maybe more inclined to be following the meta, I feel like she could, you know, garner like she could basically pull a Suri. Um, but the problem is I just don't know that you survive doing that. I just don't think you can do it. Um, even then, I don't think that that's the play. I think you still have to work with the people with the Survivor Big Brothers. No, I think the better play is actually to work with the Survivor Big Brothers and in the meantime, assuming she's a traitor, just keep around her like whichever like group of people she's able to win over because she probably will have like a group of people that want to work with her outside of that group, just keep them around. Just do exactly what she did on season 23, except instead of finally turning on Claire and Derek, keep the Claire and Derek around and then use them to win in the end. Natalie, originally on The Amazing Race with her twin Nadia, they were known as the Twinnies, had two or three runs on The Amazing Race. At least one of them was deep. She's pretty good at competitions, but again, none of that matters. She had a very good run on Survivor. She ended up winning. And then in Winners at War, ended up coming back from Edge of Extinction. But I think she was voted out fairly early, wasn't she? Natalie Anderson. It's funny, I don't actually remember when she was voted out in. She was voted out first. Right. No, I remember that now because what happened was in her original season, her twin was voted out first and she won the game. And then in Winners at War, she was voted out first, but then came back into the game via Edge of Extinction and made it to the finals. She like there's something weird happening with the universe when it comes to the Anderson sisters. They cannot finish a season without being at the start or the finish. So she will either be voted out or killed first or make it to the final fire. That is we can assume that just based on how the universe works. They were also out first in her second run Amazing Race. Yes, so there's a note that her sister could be involved. I actually think that would be bad for her. I think it would put a target on her back. But it would bolster the numbers for the Big Brother Survivor players. So there's that. Basically, she had a reputation, I would say, from her original season as being fairly cutthroat. Um, she worked closely with Jeremy, who ended up winning a season of his own. Jeremy was cut. She was out for revenge. She sort of like ingratiated herself with the people that she wanted revenge on and then like betrayed them and cut them, is sort of like my memory of that season, like the overarching story of that season. And then it went on to win the game. I think from my memory of her time on Winners at War, there were some people from Edge of Extinction that were like big fans of hers, that were like friends with her, and then there were people on Edge that like didn't get along with her. Um, I think is my memory, because there was a lot of like drama from Edge of Extinction on Winners at War about like cliques and in groups, and so there were like a group of people that did vote for her in the end that were like fans. I believe Tyson was one of them, which would be a good sign for Rob. Um, and then there was like another group that like was not a fan of Natalie. So yeah, my biggest thing is like, how does she get along with the non gamers? Because I feel like she's somebody that gets along with gamers. She's like highly competitive, and like, how does she do with the more character? She did well on her original season with characters, so yeah, I don't know. And then we have Jam Jam, who I would assume has a good relationship with Rob. They've interacted plenty. I think that Jam Jam is, from my memory of his season on Survivor, he was like a fairly loyal ally. I think he did end up trying to betray Carolyn a few times, but that's Carolyn. Like, does he? I don't think he tried to betray Carson, did he? Like super actively. I mean, he ended up betraying Carson, right? But I think he was more focused on betraying Carolyn for a while, despite the fact that Carson was theoretically a bigger threat. Um, and I think that, yeah, he wanted to go to the end with Carson, right? Right, yeah, I'm remembering now because, and that was my biggest issue with Jam Jam's game actually, was that he seemed to want to go to the end with Carson instead of Carolyn, which seemed more of a personality conflict than a strategic decision. Because Carson seemed like a bigger end game threat, final tribal threat than Carolyn did. And so that I think is a good sign in terms of his loyalty to potentially this group if they do work together, but hopefully to Rob, you know. I think Jam Jam would be, quite frankly, I think Jam Jam would be a more fun and entertaining traitor than Natalie. I think Natalie would be a good traitor, but like Natalie is already such a cutthroat player that you almost don't need it. Whereas Jam Jam as a traitor, I think would be very fun. He'd be very fun in that turret. So I'm curious to see. So the thing about Jam Jam is that I think on the surface, he seems like more of a character than a strategist. However, he is actually a strategist. Also, like you can't let his sort of like big smile and sort of like boisterous personality fool you. In a similar way that like Carolyn is also a strategist. You know, past her sort of the impression she gives off, he gives off a very different impression, but also is sort of like a strategist on the inside. So quite a crew. They're all five of these people are like strategists at heart. So I think that's very interesting. All right, let's then. I'm gonna maybe lean on the chat here for some of the other cast members. We have Donna Kelsey, who is Travis and Jason Kelsey's mom. I believe Travis Kelsey is the partner of Taylor Swift. So we are like, you know, how many Kevin Bacons away are we? Yes, Travis is famous on his own right because he's an NFL player. But let's be real. I think Taylor Swift is like at least 10x more famous than Travis. Oh, Jason is also an NFL player. I did not know that. I thought they were just being nice to Jason because they didn't want to be like, and also there's another brother. um, I mean, this reminds me of like the Dina Lohan pick from Celebrity Big Brother. I feel like parent of famous person is probably not the best pick. I think Dylan Efron was actually pretty good. I think sibling of famous person, I think we've seen work both on Big Brother, The Traitors. I think parent of famous person is tough. You know what I mean? Looking for Rob and Donna in the turret. It's just like, what are the odds she's actually a traitor? Pretty low, I would say. I doubt anyone is going to really suspect her. Maybe she'll surprise me. Who knows? But this strikes me as a casting choice that is likely just going to kind of like, you know, it just strikes me as like they just want her around so that she'll talk about Travis and Taylor. Taylor, uh, uh, I lost my Taylors. Taylor Swift. In my world, Taylor Hale is more famous. So yeah, unless there's anything else that people have on her, she's pretty funny and charismatic. She's in commercials on her own. She's adorable when you've seen her. Okay. I'll keep my hopes up. This is yeah, my Taylor opinions are my own. They do not reflect the opinions of any other Taylors. Then we have Monet Exchange from Drag Race. I feel like the Drag Race picks have not disappointed ever on the Traitors. So I'm assuming that she'll be great. And that she'll be a traitor. Right? I mean, come on. There's no Drag Race. There's a Survivor Big Brother. And maybe there's a housewife. Right? Like that's... She's a winner and quite the shade assassin. Monet and Bob are close friends. She's seen every season of Survivor. Interesting. You know what? I mean, I think that if Monet is interested in playing with the Big Brother survivors, I think they'd have her. I think Rob would love to play with Monet. I think that if Monet is like looking at the game strategically, which it sounds like she would be, which I think most of the Drag Race players have, I think she'd be a great fit into that crew, especially considering that she's likely to be a traitor. Especially, yeah, if she's a huge Survivor fan, then I feel like she's gonna, want to work with Natalie and Jam Jam and Rob. Because why not? It's just a question of um, I mean, I guess if you're Monet and you just watched your friend Bob play, and Bob was just kind of chilling, and then got randomly targeted by Boston Rob, and now you're working with another Rob. You might be a little fearful of the Survivor Big Brother players. You might be a little bit wary of them based on what happened last time. Um, so that might be a concern. But I think, based on what I'm hearing, I think what I'd be looking for is Monet to work with the Big Brother Survivor players. Then we have Colton Underwood, whose name I recognize, but otherwise have no idea who he is. He is from Bachelor Nation. Bachelor Nation. That's not an actual show, though. He was on The Bachelor and then probably also on the Bachelor sideshow, or the what is it? What is it called? He was Bachelor in Paradise. Thank you. He was the Bachelor. He stalked his ex. He won Beyond the Edge. I don't even know what that is. The Bachelor Cinematic Universe. Bachelor Nation hates him. Is he like who was on last season that everyone hated? Wasn't he from the Bachelor franchise? Tom Sandoval. No, he was from a different franchise, wasn't he? Is he like Tom Sandoval? No. Because Tom Sandoval just like cheated on a person, whereas this guy maybe did some more serious stuff. Put a tracking device on her car. I have to watch the fence jump. All right. Let me see if I can watch the fence jump. Colton Underwood fence jump. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, there's a chance this part needs to get cut out because of copyright, but let's try and watch this. Can you hear this? You can't hear this. I'm done with this. Oh, you can hear this. He said, I'm done with this. I assume this is him, like, escaping the show. Like, Meta World Peace style.
Somebody get Chris.
Colton!
This is the host. Why is it so dramatic?
Colton.
This music is so intense.
He just jumped the fence. Is there a button that opens a gate?
Open the fence, guys. Open the fence.
Why are they acting like he just escaped from prison? Guys, I didn't know he had fence jumping technology. Can somebody get this fixed?
Colton!
They have dogs hunting him.
There's dogs barking down here.
What is this? What is this
I have no
hunt?
idea where he went. He hopped the fence and took off. I didn't see which way he went. Colton! We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's something to note too. I guess is the
Any
I
idea
guess
where he
the
is?
isn't the house for the house for the bachelor is kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
He is gone.
That was wild. Okay, so if he tries to escape the Traitors Castle, I feel like he'll have an even harder time. He thought he could run through the countryside of Portugal with just his jacket and his passport and somehow get to the airport. Why is this like a genuine prison escape? It was the final four of the bat. Why did he want to leave? What is the context? Like what pushed him over the edge? Was he just like, oh man, I don't like any of these women? The girl he wanted left the show. You put it early in the chat. The person he wanted decided to leave because her dad flew out to get her. He felt like it was a setup from production, so he tipped and ran through the streets of Portugal. Oh boy. Yeah, could you imagine Alan coming in that spot? Guys, he scaled the walls of the castle. He brought out a ladder. And then he knocked it down. He crossed the moat. Via Fergus with the dogs trying to find him. Oh, okay. Hear me out. One of the challenges this season is, Colton's gone missing. It's up to you guys to decipher the clues to find him. After stalking his ex, he came out and is now gay and married to an older man. Well, geez. Well, I have to imagine. I feel like now again, I'm not up on the gossip here. I knew nothing of Tom Sandoval prior to the Traitors. I know nothing of what has happened to him since. Based on what I discovered on the Traitors, is that basically he cheated on somebody. People didn't like him because of that. But I feel like, from the perspective that I had watching the show, that he had a little bit of a redemption tour on the Traitors. People kind of liked him. That he was fun to hate and make fun of. And because he was kind of the butt of the joke and never really fought it, that people were kind of like, he's not that bad. I guess first, is that a correct read on that situation? And then second, if that's true, is Colton Underwood trying to do the same thing? Does he think perhaps that this is an attempt at redemption on the Traitors? One more clip. Look up Colton Billy Eichner, first gay bachelor. Okay. We'll do one more. Is this Colton Underwood reacts to Billy Eichner's resurfaced comments? No, not a reaction video. Billy Eichner jokes Colton Underwood could be the first gay bachelor. Yes. Oh, wow, that's loud. All right.
Wasn't afraid.
This is not correct. Sorry, this is an AI video. Here, I'll just leave this. This is the first one that popped up. Then there's this one, this viral video of Colton Underwood. This is also just like a recap of it, though. The ET one?
Maybe you're the first gay bachelor and we don't even know.
Billy Eichner is sending love to Colton Underwood after coming out as gay on Good Morning America.
I feel like this is also just a recap
now,
of events.
Multiple outlets are reporting that the former bachelor is filming his own Netflix reality show.
I feel like YouTube sucks sometimes. I feel like you try to look up a thing and then it's just like 50 different news outlets and then 500 different AI recaps of the thing you're trying to look up. Anyway, Billy was a guest in his season, made a joke about him being gay, and he was closeted in literally The Bachelor. All right, so Colton Underwood. I'm hearing he's no Tom Sandoval, that he's more boring. But he did jump a fence. So. Then we have Mark Ballas from Dancing with the Stars. I don't know why he looks familiar. I've never watched Dancing with the Stars, though. Is he from anything else? He looks like Turner. Maybe that's it. You're excited about Mark Ballas. He's got a real personality, doesn't back down from a fight, wildly talented in all forms of music, has been on Broadway, Kinky Boots, Jersey Boys. If Turner and Polly Calafiori had a child. Okay. Would you say that he is more strategist or more personality? Those that know him. Probably the best male pro dancer on Dancing with the Stars ever. Personality? Could be both. Why are people saying Derek says hi? Okay, so he's definitely a personality. He might have some undercover strategist in him, but leaning personality. And very talented, apparently. Guesses he'll do his Traitors homework. Sometimes, this is the thing. Sometimes really talented people are really bad at everything other than the thing they're talented at because they just only focus on the one thing. And they're so good at it, but it meant they weren't able to focus on anything else. And then some people who are really talented at one thing are just good at everything. So they put that level of effort into like everything they do. He's the type that's good at everything. Then he strikes me as the kind of person that might put in some work. And might do well here. All right. Then we have Lisa Rinna, Real Housewives. Lisa Rinna is great casting, a real flamethrower. The 4 housewives this season are 10 times more exciting than last season's. Mother has arrived. Rinna's gonna be the best, be a mess in the best way. You know her from Celebrity Apprentice originally. This is Diva. Wait, she was on which season of Celebrity Apprentice was she on? Because I've seen a couple of those. Season 4 of Celebrity Apprentice, which also had the likes of Meatloaf, LaToya Jackson, Gary Busey, Richard Hatch. Wait, I might have seen the one with Richard Hatch. It was so long ago, though. I feel like I might have watched this one if Richard Hatch was on it, but it aired in 2011. So I don't remember really anything that happened in it. I remember Gary Busey on the Celebrity Apprentice, but I feel like he was on like every season of that show. At least that. Oh, Mark McGrath was also in that season. The winner of that season, I do not recognize at all. Me saying Meatloaf activated Alexa. He's giving you a description of what Meatloaf is. All right. What else? Look up Lisa Rinna Amsterdam fight. Okay. I feel like clips is a great way to Amsterdam. Kim Richards versus Lisa Rinna. Amsterdam Dinner from Hell.
It's emotional to me.
Oh no.
It's emotional.
Stop. It's okay. It's all good.
Why is it emotional? It's so long ago, but I lost my sister.
This is her?
When I was 6, up to a drug overdose and alcohol.
My sister
I'm so nervous
died
about how
of
this is
a
starting.
Seconal and alcohol overdose. And she was 21. So I have really deep-rooted issues about people dying from alcohol and drug overdoses. It's in my DNA. It's in my...
I can tell just from the way she's talking that something happens
I didn't
here.
really process it. So I'm so terrified of my own children and everyone, you know. If I ever come across too strong about anything.
Oh, this is a long clip.
I definitely have
Should I fast forward a little?
you know, a fear of it, an Achilles heel, and it you know, I'm sorry if I've ever, you know, gotten into your business.
Every
I
second
never
is
meant
worth
to.
it.
I only wanted to play it out.
Wait, hold on. What?
I never meant to. I only wanted to. A fear of it, an Achilles heel, and it you know, I'm sorry if I've ever, you know, gotten into your business. I never meant to. I only wanted to play it out. Gotten into your business?
Yes, you have. And we've discussed that.
I only meant to help.
Lisa, I have been sober for 3 years. And in 3 years, my friends right here and my family have not ever seen me like that in 3 years.
But I saw you like that.
I said that night I had taken something for pain, and it obviously didn't work for me. And let me finish. And I said that. It didn't react to me. The next day, I ended up in the hospital for a week. If any
I feel like I'm missing some context here, but
had seen that more than once in 3 years, my friends, my sister would have come to me, and they would have been concerned. You have gone around to everybody.
okay. My guess is she was like, not her. She was like really out of it, and then Lisa was like concerned, and showed some concern about her use of substances. And she took offense to that, and she is now saying, if I had a substance problem, then the people around me would know about it. Lisa was talking smack behind her back, but pretending it was concern. Oh.
Concerned. You have gone around to everybody and talked to them. How do you know and you too. Don't point your finger at me.
So it was kind of a like, ooh, look at her situation. And then when she got caught, she was kind of like, well, I was just concerned.
And you two asking where I've gone to treatment. Do I have a sponsor?
Well, we've asked you.
You asked me if I was okay, and I said I am fine. And I told you on the plane, Kim, I am fine.
We care about you.
I'm concerned about you. First of all, let's not talk about. Wait, excuse me. I'm concerned about you and your situation at home. You want to bring out my stuff? Let's talk about your home.
Oh, no.
Excuse me, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you. Excuse me, shame on you. About it. I'm not talking to you. And I'm shut your f***ing mouth. I've had enough of you, you beast. Beast? Yeah.
How dare you?
And I apologize.
How dare you?
Actually, you didn't.
I don't like you. Guess what?
I love the tone of her voice.
I can't find one damn thing to like about you right now in the moment.
I never found one thing to like about you. I did nothing. From your hair to your face to your attitude.
How did this happen?
Where this hatred is coming from. It's pure evil.
What is wrong with you? Kyle, shush up. You should have said right from the beginning. In 3 years, I have been okay. I talked to him on the plane. You're like,
Is this like the Keisha's birthday of Housewives?
you want me to defend you even though you're acting like that? I've never needed you to defend me because you've never had.
Kim, yes, I have. She does defend you, Kim. She does defend you 1,000%.
She defends me more than you do. Kathy would not ever act like this. Kathy would have my back like a real sister. You have been doing this to me for years.
They are sisters?
Sister or anyone like that.
You don't
These two?
understand the relationship
No,
with
I
my
don't, but it's not okay to talk to anyone like that, Kim. It's just not okay. Your behavior's not okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's not okay.
Why don't you have a piece of bread and maybe you'll calm down a little?
Shame on you. You're disgusting, Kim.
Wait, what is the bread comment
Can I
about?
interview 1 second? I understand your sensitivity because you've worked really hard for 3 years. When I talked to her, she said, Yolanda, I've lost 2 brother-in-laws. My husband has only been sober for 3 years.
Excuse me?
Kathy's and Kathy Hilton.
Let's not talk about what you don't want to help.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Don't you ever don't touch
Just
my
saying.
husband. Ever.
Just saying.
Don't you?
You don't want out for everybody to know.
Who's touching her husband?
To talk about me or everybody will know.
Did she mean did she mean physically or? Oh boy. Oh jeez. Where did she just run away? What is that?
Coming up. Don't you go near my husband ever.
What is the husband stuff?
And lost my marbles. What the does Kim Richards know? What does she know about Harry? What did he do? She doesn't even know my husband.
What?
I'm sorry, but she can't lie about me, or I'll tell something that is true.
It's okay. I know you came from a good place. I know. Please, don't cry, please.
Go after your new friend, Kyle.
Oh, Kim, stop! How can I defend your behavior when you act like this?
What are you talking about? She lies about me, and all I said was I was going to tell the truth about her life.
You want me to defend you?
She's lying about me.
Indefensible.
She's lying about me.
Oh jeez. Hold on, I need to see what she said about her husband.
Disgusting, Kim.
Please. Can I interfere 1 second? I understand your sensitivity because you've worked really hard for 3 years. When I talked to her, she said, Yolanda, I've lost 2 brother-in-laws. My husband has only been sober for 3 years.
Excuse me? Did you just
That's
say
what she just said. Let's talk about the husband. That's it. She hinted that she knew something. Okay. This is the next Patreon reaction series. I mean, listen, it'll enhance the Traitors viewing experience. We'll go from Devil's Plan to Housewives. All right. Lisa Rinna. We now know a bit more about her. There's also Candace Dillard Bassett. What's she about? Candace is a lot. Candace is the worst. I like her, but yikes. She's very smart. She's a lethal mouth. Look up the Candace and Monique fight. She loves the show. She's a big reality TV girly. Candace and Monique fight.
You gonna drag me? You gonna
This
drag
one?
me too? Do you want me to? Do you want me to? Do you want me to? Do you want me to?
Oh boy. I feel like fight with no context isn't as fun. I need to know why they're fighting. Not today, Nick.
Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles. We don't have it.
Yeah, that was a better clip. uh A flair for the dramatics. All right, what about Portia Williams? Big personality, she will not know how to play the game. Portia thought the Underground Railroad was an actual train and there were 265 days in a year. A scammer queen? Look up Underground Railroad Portia. I might have just got spoiled.
We're going to visit First African Baptist Church, which was part of the Underground Railroad.
This
Oh, no.
history. This is the oldest in North America, correct? That's okay.
Oh, wow.
I did not expect it to be this.
Wait, the quality is not great.
This is old Hollywood glam.
These windows on the side were put in place in 1885. The style of the building is Greek Revival, and then in the balcony is the oldest pipe organ in Georgia. Everything was built by hand.
Can you imagine building this all by hand?
And if you notice, the 3x3.
Wait, so who am I?
And the
Portia
ceiling
Williams.
told somebody this was a safe haven.
Wow. Being here in such a historic place really makes me feel connected to my grandfather's legacy and how hard he fought for our civil rights.
Oh. If I do notice the holes we have in the floor shaped in a diamond, so the Underground Railroad passed right beneath us in that area. So this way you used to catch air as they were moving below us. And there's 4 feet of height below, in which orally was a crawl space. So these were the ventilation
holes are
holes.
wild.
To this day, we don't know how they got in or out from the inside of the church.
I mean, to be standing on the same floor that people crawled under to escape from slavery, it humbles me because so many people.
Her
had to
grandfather's
die
a
in the
civil rights
struggle
icon.
so that I might have these freedoms.
And we do believe now that more than half who ran away ran to find their family, because they didn't have no family.
And those are our ancestors. So that's why I feel I feel a sense of loss because we can't go back and find out exactly where we came from.
And we were just marching for the right to vote 48 years ago.
I marched when I was 6 years old with my grandfather, Jose Williamson. I remember them throwing rocks at me.
That's why we should go to school and get our education.
Absolutely, and tell the youth about things like this so they know and they can appreciate what we have now. Well, there has to be an opening for the railroad at some point.
No.
Somebody's driving the train.
No. No.
It's not electric like what we have now.
It wasn't a train.
Really? Like you really thought like there was an actual train that took them through?
I'm saying
It wasn't a train at all. They use it. That is just a euphemism, baby. It's a figure of speech.
I'm thinking it was like, why?
It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
That's a euphemism for people that are connected to the connected, trying to work their way to freedom.
Oh, no.
He's not talking about put 50 cents on the train or on the damn public bus.
But it wasn't really a train. You had to sneak to the next spot. You had to hide in the woods and run to the next spot. And this was a
No, stop.
One particular person made it. They actually.
No, stop. No, stop.
Her grandfather, Hosea Williams, just rolled over in his grave.
It's not a real train.
No, I'm saying like, how did they
No.
even get through there in the first place?
Portia, it's not a real train.
It's not a real railroad.
What was you in history school?
Okay. Yeah, she strikes me. Oh, I shouldn't have quit out of YouTube. She strikes me as the kind of person that might uh sort of like have a theory on a traitor and just be completely wrong but not back off of it. All right. Then we have Maura Higgins from Love Island. Portia has been in this roundtable eviction type show before and has done okay. Oh. Love Island UK. So like the actual famous Good Love Island. Somebody said to look up a clip, but I lost it. I was gonna say she looks like a host. I don't know why I thought that. Somebody said she was a contestant, became a host. I think just like this photo looks like a host photo, not a contestant photo. Iconic pipeline, yeah. Okay, let me is there a good clip that we can look up for Maura? Maura Higgins. Maura, Tom and Maura have a huge argument.
Thinking it, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if she is all mouth or not.
There we go. Oh, that was. Oh. I think she heard it.
Is this her?
What did you just say to them?
No, why?
What did you just say?
Just then.
Yeah.
Be interested to see if you're all mouth or not.
You joking?
Why?
That's a comment.
Yeah.
Off.
Can we clear something up? I feel like that was miscommunication.
Miscommunication?
You said what you said.
No, they asked
Yes,
me.
you did. Wait, no, you said it. And now what, you're saying you didn't?
I'm not, I'm
What?
They asked me a question.
They asked you a question. Maybe you should have been a gentleman, okay?
Is that a Scottish accent?
Yes, you did.
I mean, that was a good clip. I like that. I mean, like, I feel like she will not just be run over. She's Irish accent. That does make more sense. Yeah, I feel like that's promising because I feel like there are going to be people that like if you're not like a strategist, they'll think, oh, we can just kind of like she strikes me as the kind of person, if you try to frame her, she will be like, screw you. All right, Eric Nam, K-pop singer. Eric probably isn't going to be super strategic, but he definitely gives off a very social, likable, faithful vibe. He's friends with like every K-pop idol and is known for more of his talk shows and podcasts than his music. He's a soloist, but he's been hosting and doing podcasts for years. Well, maybe there's a podcast connection there with Rob. Named GQ's Korea's Man of the Year in 2016, included in Forbes 30 Under 30 in Asia in 2017. I'm assuming there's not like an easy clip for Eric Nam. I will definitely get copyright struck if I try to play his music. He's a mental health advocate. He seems too good for this show. Very Dylan coded. Look up his Tom Holland clip. This one? Oh, that's 28 minutes long. One where he jokes about his age. I feel like I just saw that. Oh wait, is this?
Speak great English, though, man. Yeah.
Whoop.
Speak great English, though, man. Yeah. How did you learn English? I'm American. Speak great English.
Oh, Tom Holland.
There are two clips that give off the same energy.
I'm 26.
Wait,
I'm American age. I'm 92.
No, you're 26.
I'm 26.
I'm 30.
Oh, you're 4 years older than me? You old, bro. I didn't know you were that old.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm old, y'all.
He's just too old.
Whoa.
He just needs sleep.
You know he's younger than me.
Oh. You're old, Eric.
Oh.
Next year, I'm 29.
I'm 19, so whatever, dude.
You're 19?
I'm 19. Cheers to that.
This is too many cuts. This is too many cuts. I can't follow. I'm not made for shorts. Okay. Seems like a cool guy. Then we have Johnny Weir. Weir? Johnny Weir. That's what I want to say. Olympic figure skater. Icon. Didn't he host the Winter Olympics? I wouldn't know. Was he on Dancing with the Stars? That would matter because then he'd have a connection to Mark. You have a backpack signed by him. Oh boy. Good at skating. Will get along well with the drag queens. Commentator. He's done a lot of reality TV. What else has he done? He was on Masked Singer. Has he done any like social strategy kind of games? Or just like talent games? Cooking shows? His tweets supporting Simone Biles recently were perfect. What happened with Simone Biles? Why did she need supporting? Doesn't everyone love Simone Biles? Oh, no, I did see that. Yeah, she spoke out in defense of trans athletes. So by proxy, he also spoke out in okay. So no, like, not a lot of like comparables. Probably more personality than strategist, but... Or is that wrong? I feel like athletes are usually more personality. Although, quite frankly, athletes are not always personalities. Athletes are sometimes neither in these shows. But he's like an athlete and a personality. So I think that's a good combo. Because he does like commentating and stuff. Yeah, Ryan Lochte's kind of my go-to. when I was talking about athletes who are really good at one thing, I was So here's the thing. Here's what I know Rob hates. Rob hates boring people. So if Rob is going to look to target people, I would assume it's the boring people first. Am I right in thinking this might be a #1 target for Rob? Assuming there's no fences to jump? Eric is nice, but maybe boring. That's concerning. What about Mark? You think Mark might be boring? Like, I feel like Ivor would have been a top target for Rob last season. You know what I mean? So who's the Ivor on this cast? I will say there are 3 housewives. That's the biggest block that's not Big Brother Survivor. I feel like you often see the housewives go to war sort of for that reason. There's 4 housewives. Wait, who's the 4th? Lisa, Candace, Portia. Who's the 4th? Oh, Dorinda. I forgot. We kind of skipped over her. Note, she could be a late entry. I guess, honestly, while we're at it,
I don't like Joanna. She's always yelling about Jesus and how Jesus loves Jabiru. I didn't know that Jesus had a vested interest in Survivor, because as far as I've seen every picture of him, Jesus is a guy. I would think that he would want the guys to win. I don't see the women working well together. I know that their shelter is not going to be as good as ours. I see them all crying, panicking, trying to...
Hence the feminism comment from earlier.
Cell phones, they could call their boyfriends to come over and help them build the shelter. Outside of that, I'm sure they've got maybe 3 sticks together. I said that the only way Roger is going to win immunity is if it's a contest named that Perry Como song, or perhaps what type of prune is this, or some sort of other thing that only an old man like Roger would be able to determine. Heidi has been bitten by some insect, and it has now reached the size of one of her breasts on her knee. You know who's gonna win?
Alex.
I'd say Matt.
Oh, Matt. Absolutely.
I don't know how good an idea this is to give us a bow and arrow. What you got there?
Bows and arrows.
Matt's gonna orgasm. I really cannot wait to watch it when the girls are all taking baths.
Heidi, do you need some help with
This is actually uncomfortable for me. I don't know if I can do this. uh What would be the best Ian Terry? What is?
Yeah, I'm Ian, and I'm studying chemical engineering. So if the hot tub breaks, I'm the one to fix it.
Oh geez, we can't be playing music here. Come on. Ian Terry, get to steppin'.
Who ratted you out? I've watched you on this show since I was 10, and I have nothing but admiration and respect for how you play this game. Now for the hard part. Since the reset, I've been in an alliance called the Quack Pack with Dan, Danielle, Brittany, and Shane. I'm the one that told Brittany and Shane you were coming after them. This week, I masterminded your demise. I learned from one of the best, and that is why you're sitting with Julie right now. I'm really sorry.
Hold on. What about Dan cuts Shane? Big Brother. I shouldn't have to put Big Brother after that.
With Ian in power.
Oh my god, this is 11 minutes.
With Ian in power.
Congratulations.
Or you can choose to leave your nominations in place.
Competitor. Ian, you're an equal competitor. Both of you guys got a great shot to win this game. But day one, I entered this game, and I had to get blood on my hands on day one. And
Ian thought he was getting voted out here.
piling up, and now I'm up to blood in my elbows. And at this point,
But
in the
Dan
game,
pulled
I
off
think
a
back to the
miracle.
jury house, and I think of Joe, and I think of Jen, and they told me there's something big in this house. You're gonna have one shot to break up, and this is that shot. So Shane, I'm sorry, I have to evict you.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
What?
I love Ian's reaction.
It's fine.
What? Ian wins veto.
And became the new head of household. He then
In this case, Dan was trying to evict Ian.
seconds away. And it looks like Ian is seconds away. Congratulations, Ian. You have won the power of veto. You have just a few minutes to decide if you're going to use it. I think we all know the answer. Will the nominations change? I'm pretty sure.
Ian versus Frank. Oh, come on.
You had several days to decide you were going to vote Mike out, right? What about how much time you decide? Just keep running your mouth. Everybody's looking at what you really like right now.
No, Frank,
Let those horns come on out, Ian. Let them come out.
If you're wondering, yes, he's in a carrot
They
costume.
were taking advantage of you because you were a kid, but it turns out you're just trying to be sneaky.
No, that's not true. I'm not sneaky at all.
All right. Because it was really easy for you to vote against Mike, and it was really easy for me and
Oh, it was
Asha.
really easy for me to vote against Mike because I cried all day.
And then you told
That
him
was
to
the
get to
easiest
stepping.
thing.
You told him to get to stepping.
Exactly. Because he was freaking calling me a
No,
coward.
because you had it
and no
ready.
backbone
Because you
and
had
no
it ready,
spine.
and you expected it to happen like that. You were
That's
crying
definitely-
all day, and you were coming to me saying you felt bad that Mike was probably going home, but you really were guilty because you were voting against him. So I have no
Yeah.
sympathy for you.
Well,
no sympathy.
Okay, well, good.
All right. Then we have Tiffany. What would be the best Tiffany moment? Do you think the fisherman speech is on here? No, of course not. Oh, that's not even...
Looking at me like that, y'all know I have issues. This brain does not rest. I have theories about things, and I think that Sarah Beth is hiding a lot of who she is, and that to me makes her very suspicious because why are you hiding? You don't really care what Beth puts on. Why? SB, so that to me means you are just as big of a threat. And with that being said, if you can target Hannah that way, you can.
I think it's too whispery. Man, Big Brother needs to get up its clip game. It just doesn't exist. Here we go.
I wouldn't give wolf. I'd say an opossum. Even though he. Who the fuck is a rooster? Yeah, rooster. Yeah, rooster. Who is a rooster? She's over here. Mine's yellow. Who is a rooster? Frenchie? You. Fuck y'all. I am a unicorn. Get my shit right.
Tiffany could be like a squid.
A squid. Fuck Claire. Fuck Sarah Beth. And I said that shit. Okay. What about like an anteater? Fuck Alyssa too.
All right, let's.
The part about Sarah Beth stuck because she ended up having like such a vendetta against Sarah Beth for like the whole season. Let's see if Survivor best of.
Sri Lankan twins, Nadia and Natalie, took an aggressive.
Tonight, your sister is in trouble.
I know it's like the last day I've thought about Nadia so much.
Sister that she's out, or for you that you're alone?
It's just really up the pot to me, run to the water well as fast as we have ever. And it makes me really depressed at this point. Everything I did was to get him out, and now I can't even kick him out. I gave him the reward and everything only because I wanted to blindside him. I've been feeling.
Member of our jury, Alan.
Just the way Tribal went, I knew I had to pretend to mess up and accidentally vote out Alec instead of Keith and act my ass off to convince them that it was a mistake. It was a risk I was willing to take because I just didn't want John to have more power and control in this game right now than he needs. I mean, I think I sold it to them properly, but it's going to be scary, but John is on my hit list. He's been on my hit list since he sent Jeremy home, so it's been a long time coming. I need to make some moves soon. I volunteered to go to exile, but at this point in the game, when your body's already so drained and in threat,
I want to find stick to the plan.
Makes me really proud.
No, I don't think it's here. Yeah, basically she was just like, "Oh crap, I thought I was supposed to vote out. Oh shoot, I messed up." And then there's Jam Jam.
There's no way for some reason I thought I was snoring here. People get voted off because of snoring.
These compilations are too long. They're great for what they are, but I need a. Yeah, I think Big Brother and Survivor need to up their clip game. That's what I'm gonna say. Check the most replayed section. That's a good point.
There's no way
Nah, they don't even have it.
like this is amazing.
But I want to do this together. They lowered their voice, so they're talking about us. I'm gonna go. Okay.
Living my dream means cutting the dream of someone I love. I got a lot of love for Caroline, the way we connected at Tika the first few days. I have a big conflict in my head of getting rid of Caroline or Jamie. Am I gonna be able strong enough to do this?
I remember screaming at the television. I was like, "Jam Jam, you should be talking about Carson." Anyway, I think the big question on everyone's mind with Rob here is, what is he gonna wear? If this is indeed true, if Rob is going to be on the Traitors, what's he gonna put on? Surely not the plaid. Maybe once. You know? Chappelle's also worried about this. I mean, I feel like you could spend the entire prize money on a set of outfits for this show. You know what I mean? Your entire appearance fee just goes to wardrobe. All right. Anything else to talk about here with the Traitors cast? Rumored Traitors cast? It does. I've seen some people say that there might be more additions because this is a fairly small group of people. Do we think those people are like, yeah, like a Boston Rob kind of edition? Or will they maybe be part of the OG cast? Oh, you're right. You know what? I don't think I ever looked up Monet clip. What's a good Monet clip? Monet sponge. Is it this one? Return of the Monet sponge? Or Return of the Sponge? Or is it an original sponge? The takeout split. All right, let's just try this one.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just here. Sweep of the competition, girl. I am on the exchange, and you better get your currency in check, bitch.
Monet Exchange. Ooh, Monet changes everything. Monet Exchange.
Clean up on
This seems like more of a...
I'm literally cleaning the floor with my garment as I'm walking down the runway. And it's fair.
Why are your earrings blue?
Because it's supposed to be like water and sponge and dirt. You see what I'm saying?
No, didn't get it.
These.
The Sonny and Cher Show.
Cheesecake TV. It's Cheesecake TV.
Monet Exchange.
Monet Snatch Game.
Take it out, everybody.
Do we have time for one more?
Yes, of course we do.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
I'm assuming not. She was on Dropout hosting a show and being a panelist on some other shows, plus Dungeons and Drag Queens. The second video, this one.
The sweetheart contestants, HBIC, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Hello, room. May I call you Auntie Maxine? Author, actress, and a national treasure, Maya Angelou.
Do you know why?
Congress.
I'll bring it up.
Already up in here.
Stop looking at me like that. You make me nervous.
Beyonce, you seem a little hostile today.
You have to be on guard with these bitches claiming that I didn't write my music and stuff.
You said a bad word.
I think I skipped too much. I don't know what's going on. Season 5 Candace versus Monique.
I thought that was Candace that pushed me.
All right. There's so much to go through, so I want to...
Doing like an RHOP photo, and that was the extent of it.
Can I just say RHOP is so tricky for me. I feel like I see it all the time. And I always think it's RHAP.
But then she ran from her at my anniversary party like she was the plague.
Does everyone believe...
I invited my friend. All she had to do was just say, hey, friend, just FYI, Sharice is gonna be here, so just so you can be mentally prepared.
You're giving Sharice way too much credit and energy. Why?
They're too long. I'm sorry. The clips are too long. I need them to be short. I'm running out of clip stamina. Hold on. I got a clip. What is even happening?
And you'll, however, let's just say Paramount put the fear of God in her, and you'll see her on the pit stop, but you'll never see that sniveling little corporate shill here on Sibling Watchery ever again.
This message is for this long neck, fucking wide back gorilla lip.
Oh boy, what is happening? Okay, this one's not too long. But what is he responding to?
Put the fear of God in her, and you'll see her on the pit stop, but you'll never see that sniveling little corporate shill here on Sibling Watchery ever again.
I'm just too confused. I'm sorry. All right. I think we could do something like this in the future that's maybe a little more structured. So that I'm not just fumbling around for clips. But exciting news overall. I apologize for the YouTube video after the fact because I'll probably have to cut a lot of those clips. But most of the like actual analysis I have came in the beginning. Interesting stuff for the Traitors. Season 4. Rumored cast list. Excited to see it come together. Winner pick. I mean, it's so dependent on who's actually a traitor. How do you even like pick a winner pick, you know? I feel like Jam Jam could do well. I feel like Jam Jam, of the people I know, Jam Jam is in a good position where he will not, I think, be seen as a huge threat, but will be able to still like work with big threats and like get along with everyone and play strategically. The thing about like Rob and Tiffany is that I just feel like, how do you not vote them out? At some point, how do you not vote them out? You know what I mean? What does winning even mean is a great question. Because the thing about the Traitors is that it's not really about winning. The thing about the Traitors is that it's more about being a big, likable character on the season. Like, I'd venture to say that Carolyn was one of the biggest winners of the Traitors last season. I think Carolyn and Dylan Efron were two of the biggest winners of that season. Because they were big characters that were likable and were able to garner a big following based on their performance in the show. And it really doesn't even matter who actually wins. Yeah, certainly Tom Sandoval, big winner. The Traitors is like the biggest show in this genre right now. And it's making a lot of like reality people, it's like revitalizing careers. So that's kind of like, I think the goal. Like if I'm Rob, I'm not there to win the game. I'm there to make good TV and, you know, be fun to watch for as long as possible. And that means that you do have to try to win to some degree. Like you have to try to, like, you can't get voted out or eliminated early. You have to make it to the end or close to the end. But I don't think you can feel like you succeeded at the show if you get to the end by being boring. And yeah, I mean, especially like if Rob is able to be super funny on the season and people are like, oh, I want to hear his takes on reality TV, like that's a huge win, I think. I'd say worst case scenario is, I mean, worst case scenario is that like Rob just gets like murdered instantly. He's like the new Johnny Bananas. What I will say is I started a Patreon for my Devil's Plan reactions because they're not really able to go up on YouTube. It's been very fun. I've been watching similar to what we just did. I watch clips. I'm in the corner. I'm pausing and reacting and commentating and analyzing along the way. My plan is right now to do the same for the Traitors when that comes out. So when this season of the Traitors airs, we'll have some Patreon reactions and analysis similar to what we just did, but with the full episodes. So that will be that will especially be fun now with all of the extra context and insight that hopefully I'll be able to have on some of these players. Taskmaster reactions. I mean, I love Taskmaster. I'm pretty far behind, which might actually be a good thing. I will still do live streams for like Big Brother and stuff. But shows like The Traitors that air not live, kind of, I've always struggled to do because it's in some ways like it's harder for people to sync up because it's not airing at the same time roughly for everyone. So I feel like this is not only is this like a good way to do these kinds of things, but I think it's better content to be able to like pause and discuss while the episode's playing. It's just a little tricky copyright wise because we're technically playing parts of the episodes, but you know, obviously there's tons of commentary and analysis happening, so If I watch Housewives on Patreon, I'll spend all the money. Listen, I could definitely see myself doing some like compilation viewings. This was fun. Because that's the like, I only have 2 Devil's Plan episodes left, so I am we'll need a new thing to jump to for sure. I thought about jet lag reactions. But yeah, I wouldn't want to like compete with my own jet lag coverage if we end up doing that. You introducing me to all the pop culture moments of this. Do I just clear my schedule for the summer? Pretty much. No idea how much Housewives is a social strategy game. I mean, I can kind of see it. Thoughts on Wheel of Time not getting renewed? Yeah, that's a bummer. Did I watch Destination X? No. What is the snake? Genius Game UK. Yeah, Genius Game UK did not do well in the ratings. I had fun making the videos about him though. I do have a story actually. I had something happen to me recently that was kind of wild and slightly traumatic. It happened the day of the Survivor draft. I was at a friend's house and I found a bunny in their pool, drowning. Sorry. Trigger warning. It was terrifying. I pulled the bunny out of the pool. It was like, okay, so basically, the bunny was like kind of swimming, but like only on one side. And at first I was like, oh man, like, should I do, like, I assume I need to pull it out because I don't know if it can get out, but it looks like it's swimming. It just looks like it's struggling to swim. So I pulled it out and I kind of like placed him on the ground. But you know how like if I pick up my cat and I set my cat down, my cat's gonna like land on his feet and run away or something. That's what I expected the bunny to do. But instead, he just like he was a log, stiff as a board. I was like, oh my God, he's dead. He was just swimming, but now he's dead. It was awful. And I was like, I was thinking, I've been watching Dr. Mike. I was thinking like chest compressions, but I don't know how to do chest compressions on a bunny. I don't even know how to do chest compressions on a human. Luckily I saw eventually I saw he was breathing. His stomach was moving. And I later learned that when they're scared, they just freeze up. So I'm like looking up what to do. I'm calling. There's like a animal rescue humane society thing. I'm on hold. I'm like, can you guys please pick up? I'm on your emergency line. I don't know what to do. Yeah, bunny hotline. I'm reading that you should put them on a towel and put them in like a quiet space. So I do that. And he's still just kind of like not moving. And I'm looking it up, and it's like you might have to do chest compressions, but he's breathing, so I don't have to do chest compressions. And we're just like waiting for him to like dry off. I believe it's a wild bunny because there are apparently lots of bunnies in the area. He eventually starts moving, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And I'm gonna say again, trigger warning, because it was genuinely traumatic. He starts moving, but not with one of his paws. He can't move. One of his paws is like sideways. And I was like, no. And I'm still on hold with this place. It's been like 20 minutes. And he's trying to hop away. He can't. So they finally pick up, and I'm like, hey, I found a bunny in a pool. He's breathing. He seems to be doing okay, but I think he might have like a broken paw or something. They were initially like, it's only been 25 minutes. You should just keep waiting. Wait another hour. Call us back if he still hasn't gone. Because he might just be scared. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, it really looks broken to me. Like, it looks like it's in the wrong place. And they were like, okay, we just don't want to come and like the bunny's gone, basically. So you're gonna have to make sure the bunny doesn't leave. Can you like put him in a box or like take a hamper and put it over him? And I was like, okay, I can do that. So we got one. We put it over him like a big thing. But it's not like he could have gone anywhere anyway. And then we waited for them to come, and the woman like came. She had a little like little cage thing. She was like, oh yeah, that's broken. And put him in the little carrier, and then took him away. And I was like, because like I said, apparently there's lots of bunnies in the area. So we were like, you know, what about his family? Like, they was like, don't worry, we'll put him back in this area. But my biggest thing is that I forgot to like, I didn't ask like, can we check up on the bunny? So I don't have a conclusion to the story other than she took him away and is hopefully caring for this bunny. But yes, I realized afterward that's why the bunny was swimming sideways, because he was swimming with only one paw. We also later discovered that there were like some cameras that this person has that caught not the incident itself, but basically right before I found the bunny, a cat was like prowling in the backyard. So the assumption is that the cat kind of like chased the bunny into the pool and broke his little paw in the process. Bunny was pushed, exactly. But But that is my trauma. I was genuinely traumatized by this experience. I was just so terrified of like doing the wrong thing the entire time. And then it was literally like an hour or two later that we did the Survivor 50 draft. I was struggling. um Yeah, I'm just dumping. I'm trauma dumping on you right now. I keep thinking of the bunny. He was so like when he was wet, he was so small. And then as he started to dry, he started to puff up, you know what I mean? But then he was limping and I just felt so bad. And now I wish I could find him again somehow and see that he's okay. Um I have thought about calling, but they just seemed so like, I mean, it took forever to get a hold of them, and then I don't want to like bother them, you know what I mean? Like they're out there doing like important work. I don't want to be like, "Hey, can you tell me about my bunny?" Um Apparently there's a Rinna bunny clip. The bunny won Kim versus Lisa. Is that what it is?
I can tell you why I said it in the moment to Eden. It was after game night. You went after my husband.
I never said anything about your husband.
Oh my god, is this the sequel to what we just watched?
One thing about your husband. Kidding me? Never said a word about it. You know what? You played dirty.
And the very next day, you're at a dress shop, you're telling Eden I'm not sober, and I'm near death. It's like lies, cries, and denies. That's what you did. It was like to watch it was just unbelievable to me.
Kim, will Lisa Rinna always disappoint you, do you feel like?
No, I don't think that. I think Lisa has a huge heart, and I think that you don't always disappoint me. I'm like, wow. Like I get excited when I see Lisa. Like I own it. I'm owning it. I'm owning it. I'm owning it. I hear these words. I get like, yeah, go for it, Lisa. I don't think she always will disappoint me.
I like that. And since then, we've made amends. Can I hug you? Do you feel like a hug? Should we hug? Thank you.
Thank you for your apology.
Thank you for being open to me tonight. And we have moved on.
I think there's big hopes for us.
Lily from Springdale, Arkansas wants to know what you did with the bunny Lisa Rinna gave for your grandson.
Oh, well, Lisa, hold on. I brought the bunny. Because I never gave it to my grandson. Because I didn't feel like it had good energy. So I think what I should do is give it to you. And when you are in a better place, maybe you can give it back to me
right now, I don't feel it was given to me with the right energy.
The Bad Bunny energy?
And it's just been sitting there. And I couldn't give it to my grandson because I'm all about energy and positive things. And
Okay.
so,
Would you like one of my crystals? Maybe it'll help heal you.
no, I'm healed. I'm good. But I feel like maybe that could be given to somebody else and that you would mean it more and get better energy giving it to somebody else. You don't have to cry over it. So I just feel like, and I could have regifted it, but I felt
The
like it was better to give it
silent,
back to you.
slow tear falling down her
She's still
face.
saying there's hope for the future between the two of you.
What do you
but
think
maybe
returning
just
the
not
bunny
now.
at the reunion means? Send it back in the mail.
I bought it when I hadn't talked to her yet, and I don't really know, honestly, what's real and what's not with you. I don't.
Well, I'd like to hear from her.
I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to say a word. I get it. Loud and clear.
Maybe that was bad timing of me to ask that question because I feel like we were just at a place where you...
You know, I don't think so. I think, Lisa, I don't know if I am ready to be your friend.
It's okay. You know what? I accept that and I'm okay with it. I've forgiven myself and
that's a big step.
I can move forward with that.
I feel bad because I know my sister's personality, and she wouldn't want to have something that she felt had anything negative attached to it to give her baby because she's superstitious and all that. But I also can see Lisa feels bad about that.
You know what's really funny is Harry was the one that said that he thought this would be a really good idea to bring this bunny to Kim, that it would just be a really nice moment to have with you. So I said, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right. You know,
I mean, I think it's good that you feel bad for a minute because you hurt me.
I'm gonna walk away for just a second because this just doesn't feel quite right.
I've seen the side of her before where she's like, I'm sorry. It would mean a lot to me if I knew she was sincere.
Right, and I understand that that's your issue. You're not. You want.
Is there a sequel to the bunny? Does the bunny ever come back?
They're always very superstitious about anything.
I understand it was given at a moment where things weren't resolved, so it maybe has some significance.
Listen, I need to talk to you about this. Okay. That was a calculated move with that bunny. You had a good heart and you were trying to end this. I know you. I know.
It was a calculated
She's just
move
trying
with
to
the bunny.
demean you and hurt you.
Well,
and
you
put
know
down.
what? She can't demean me and hurt me because I have a beautiful life and I have a beautiful family. And you know what? That's her stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm dropping frames.
Stuff right there.
I mean,
I'm dropping frames. I don't know why. My internet's working fine. It's still struggling though. Jeez. Sorry, I don't know what the issue is. It's not resolving either. It's continuing to lag here. So maybe this is a good place to end. Either way, thank you for hanging out. if you can even see or hear me right now. I think you might be seeing me from the past. I think it lagged, and now you're seeing me from like 3 minutes ago. So you might eventually see this. It's still showing me it's a bad connection on OBS. Okay, I guess it might be caught up now. Anyway, that's what we have. I will be doing reactions to the Traitors on Patreon. So when the season starts, you can find it over there. In the meantime, if you want to head over there and watch my other reactions or any other content I put over on Patreon, head over there and check it out. I'm pretty proud of that stuff. I think it's very fun. So check out all that stuff over on Patreon. Link is below on YouTube or in the chat on Twitch. What else? Big Brother starting soon. We're going to have a retrospective tonight. Check out the Genius videos I put out. We'll hopefully get more stuff in general over on YouTube. I'll keep experimenting with other kinds of content. Yeah, we'll have a good time. All right. Thanks again for hanging out. I will see all of you, I don't know, next time.